as we look at our different solutions. We just said that as we are looking at this, we have three different possibilities. We have no solution when you have a false statement. So no solution. We have a false statement. Like, if I was looking at what, Sammy, with some of our false statements on our program tonight? What kind of a false statement would make us decide that there's no solution? Like 2 equals what?
7.
2 equals 7, right? That comes out and we get 2 equals 7. We want to put that our answer is no solution. How do we decide if we are going to have one solution when I am looking at that, Greta? What is that one answer? What might it look like? X equals what?
2.
X equals 2, right? You actually solve a problem and you get X equal to something. You get X equals negative 11/6, right? That was a solution. That gave us one answer, what X was equal. So when we solve those and you actually get it equal to something, and here's the thing that a lot of people think sometimes, that they get an answer like X equals 0 and they think that's a no solution. X equals 0 is a solution. It means that the answer that works for that variable is the number 0, okay? And then our last one that we are looking at is when do we have a true statement for everything? So when we have all real numbers that work, and that's when we have this true statement. And a true statement might be something, Daisy, like what?
3 equals 3.
3 equals 3. So you eliminated the variables in both of these. And then when the variables were eliminated, you were left with simply 2 numbers being equal. The other most common mistake that I see people doing as they're solving these problems, and as you get ready for this big quiz that's on Thursday, is that they try and move the numbers first instead of getting rid of the variables. Move the variables first. Always move your smaller variable when you're thinking of the problem, okay? So those are our key 3 things that we're going to be looking at today. So it says, we're going to look at these 12 equations below and determine the nature of their solution. In each box, you're going to write one of the following answers. The answers that we are putting in the box are going to be all real numbers, because it was a true statement, okay? We are going to put no solution, because it was a false statement, no numbers work. Or we are going to put down X equals a number, and you're going to tell me the one solution, okay? So when I'm looking at that, the all real numbers, that was for a true statement, like 3 equals 3. Hang on. Wait. Gotta make sure this person's here. Not here today. You can take that. They're not here. Not here today. Okay? So when we look at no solution, that's when we had a false statement, right? False statement like 3 equals 0. And then this is where we get X equals a number. So in the first one, Sophie, we need to move the smallest variable. What are you going to do? Can you solve it? Which one?
What is so funny? You're gonna
Add X. Please do this right in your workbook. We're not going to do it on a separate sheet. Okay?
what is
So if we add X, Erin, you ready? 2 is equal to, we're going to have 2X plus 2. What would you do next, Robin? Subtract 2. And at this point, Sammy, I'm going to have 2X equals what?
2x equals 2.
Okay, when I take 2 minus 2, what'd you get?
0.
2X equals 0. So if I'm solving, Jordan, 2X is equal to 0, what would I need to do to solve?
Divide it
5,
2.
2. And 0 divided by 2 is?
0.
0. So my answer here, I'm going to put X equals 0, and my answer is one solution. Okay? So what you are asked to do, and right now I want you to know how to solve these, and you can kind of check with your shoulder partner. I would like you to do 2, 3, do number 4 and 6. If you want to keep going, keep going. We're going to I'm gonna give you a little, Natalie, what'd you do first in number 2?
I subtracted x.
Subtracted x, and tell me you had 3 equaled,
3.
so our answer was
All the numbers.
all real numbers, okay? Next one, if we are looking at Bergen, what'd you do for the next one?
Subtract x.
Again, subtracting x is the easiest thing. So we subtract our x and got 5 equals -3. So we should have no solution. How about number 4? What'd you do first, Adam?
I minus that.
Minus which x?
3x or 2x?
3x. So if we subtract 3x, what'd you end up with? So -5 equals -1x. Okay? If I'm looking at that equation, what do I need to do to solve? For x. How many solutions do I probably know at this point? Do I know I have one solution? Or do I know I have no solution or all real number? At this point, Kennedy, how do you know we have one?
Because you can divide
I can divide both sides by -1, right? So if I divide both sides by -1, what I know is that when I look at this, because this x is equal to a number, I am going to be able to solve, and x is going to equal 5. And so when I'm solving that, and x equals 5, I am going to have one solution, okay? If we were looking at number 6, yeah?
For number 5, would it make a difference if you subtracted 2x instead of 3? Would you get a different answer?
No. You could have subtracted 2x. And just so, I know there's some white space on yours up above or down below in your notes. So if you would have subtracted 2x, you would have had 1x minus 5, this is in problem 4, equals 0. And then you would have had to add 5 to both sides to solve it, right? And then x equals 5. So you still get the same answer, one solution. Let's look at number 5. What do I have to do to get rid of division by 2? Opposite of dividing by 2. We're going to multiply. So please show multiplying by 2, and we're going to put 2 over 1 on this side, and over here we're just going to put times 2. If I'm multiplying this side by 2 over 1, the 2's cancel, that's the same as 1 over 1, and I'm left with x equals 2x. And the most common answer I'll get at this point is that there's no solution. But if I subtract x from both sides, what am I left with? I'm left with 0 equals 1x. That means I have one solution, right? My answer, the one solution is that x equals 0. And so I am going to write that this one is one solution as I am looking at this one. So there is one solution, okay? Versus when I look at this one and I had someone, so 2x, this is using our distributive property, plus 2 equals 2x plus 1. This one, people always sometimes think there's no solution because they look almost the same. It's a subtraction, but they're not. One is 2 minus x and x minus 2. And here, if you do subtract the 2 x's on both sides, you are left with 2 equals 1. And if 2 equals 1, again, there's no solution. That's a false statement, right? So just being careful as you look at those, okay? So as I am looking at mine, I want to make sure I know if it's no solution or if it's infinite, all real numbers, or if there's one solution. If I'm looking at this one and trying to find x, what does 2 have to be times so that when I take 10 and divide by it, I get 5? And I had someone go, oh, that's a hard problem, I'm not sure. So just think of it this way. Couldn't we simplify this to say that this is 5 over 1x and to equal 5? What would x have to be? Doesn't it have to be a number? What number would it have to be?
1.
Has to be 1. There's ways you can go through the steps of solving it, but this is the one solution, right? So we would write one solution. Okay? I would like you right now to do number 8, do number 11. We're going to look at number 10, simplifying that one. Do those do 7, 8, 11. If you get time, do 12. We're going to do 10 in just a minute. And then we are going to get you started on your homework. Number 7. As I look at number 7, Robin, what are you going to do to start solving number 7 then? Minus x. How many solutions did you have? 1. The answer was x equals what? X equals 0. By subtracting x, we have 5x equals 0. So we have 1 solution. In the next one, Maya, as I use the distributive property, I'm going to have 7x plus 14 equals? Yes, it's exactly the same on both sides. So when and I've had some people, when we had someone earlier today solving this, they subtracted 14 on both sides right away. We don't want to do that. We want to actually think of subtracting the 7x, and that's where you get the two numbers equal. So 14 equals 14. Since 14 is equal to 14, and that is true, we're going to have all real numbers. Okay? Number 10. We had a problem like this right at the beginning with our distributive property. Okay? What you want to think of doing is taking 2x and dividing it by 2. And please write this down in your notes. And then 4 divided by 2. So that's really what this problem means. Okay? And on this side, we still have x plus 2. Well, when I divide this by 2, that leaves me with x plus 2. X plus 2, they look the same on both sides, exactly the same. So when I subtract x from both sides, I know this one will be all real numbers. Number 11. Greta, did you get number 11? What kind of answer it should be? No solution. Okay. How about number 12? Anyone have number 12?
I do.
You do? What do you got?
So I got x equals 1.
X equals 1. 1 solution. Nice. Okay. So as we are looking at these, hopefully these are kind of making sense as you think about what kind of an answer you have, and as you look at your solutions. Are no solutions? That's when you had two numbers that were not equal. Always remembering that, okay? Are all real numbers is when we have two of the same numbers equal, okay? And then our one solution that we are looking at, that's when you got the variable equal. On the quiz, you will see some of each type, okay? Notice it says, for what value is it true? It says solve the equation, write a sentence describing the solution. We're just talking about this in our team meeting. Now some of you will just put this part. That would not be a sentence, x equals 2. This is only true when x equals 2. How did they get that? Because if we were looking at this, they subtracted 3. They had 6x equals 12. They divided both sides by 6 to get x equals 2, and they put it over here. There should be enough room for you to do your work with these problems. One hint is subtraction, remember, can be rewritten as adding the opposite. So if you only put this part down, it is likely you could hand this in and I give you a 0 on it. I did it, Mrs. Thompson. You didn't follow the directions which say write a sentence to describe the solution. So a sentence like, this is the only true when x equals 2. There is no number that makes this true. There's no solution, right? Every number you choose. So writing sentences as you look at those, okay? When you look at number 4, again, you don't even necessarily have to go through and show me how you're going to solve that one. It just says 10 divided by what equals 20. So just think. What am I going to divide 10 by? Now, I had someone say, oh, you know what? I'm going to solve this by multiplying by x on both sides. I said, yep, that works. This side, it cancels. You'd be left with 10 equals 20x. Do you know how to solve that problem when it's written that way? Probably a lot easier than when it's written like this, okay? So as you are solving those, you have 1 through 6. Tomorrow, like I said, if you finish this, make sure you have 8